it's Gary here. Welcome back to my channel Relationship Haven. I hope you're all having a fantastic day or evening. Wherever you are in today's story, Opie found out his wife cheated on him and then left him for her affair partner. Years later, she is now out of a job and completely bankrupt after she tried helping her affair partner out with a business that failed. Talk about karma. In today's second story, found out his wife has been having an affair with a co-worker and needs advice on how to proceed. Now, let's get into today's stories. I have been happily married for 6 years. My wife is awesome. 2 beautiful kids. I'm living my dream. This is my second marriage. My first marriage ended abruptly after 2 years when I discovered the affair. This was the typical 2 young perfect kids marriage. The wedding was huge and beautiful. We had dated in college. We both landed great jobs. We worked hard at our jobs but had fun together. She seemed so happy. We talked about kids in our future. I then discovered her affair of 6 months with a guy that I could just not imagine her being with. My split was easy. She was not remorseful, blamed me and pointed out all my flaws. The only time she ever did was after the affair was exposed. I had a ton of family and friends for support, no kids and similar incomes. Alimony clean break. That was 9 years ago. Sure, it was tough. But I was young and fell back into the single life. It helped too because she packed up and moved out of state with him. Last week, I got a wave on Facebook Messenger and then a message from her asking for my email because she needed to send me something. The last time I contacted her was in the attorney's office years ago. I was terrified and thought it was about an STD or trying to figure out if she could have been pregnant. I then gave her my email. I then got this long email. It was the equivalent of a suicide note without mentioning ending her life. She moved on with it, as I suspected. She then mentioned that he was abusive and that he forced her to get an abortion. They also had never married. She supported him for 5 years and he quit his job to pursue some business idea. She funded it along with co-signing, which bankrupted her. She got laid off of her job and he refused to move to where she can retain her income. So she ended up working retail. He left her when the money dried up. She moved and tried to get herself on track and was taking ad meds due to all of this and ended up losing her job again. There was a bunch of other stuff too. She ended the email by telling me how big of a mistake she made and how happy she was for me. She apologized for hurting me. That was it right after the divorce. I would have found joy in reading this. But now it was just sad. Really sad. I ached over what to do. I typed a respectful email. Something that I would share with my wife. Hit send and the email bounced. I then sent a brief Facebook Messenger note and it was blocked. Now, what do I just delete her email? Should I share it with my wife? Here are my thoughts on the situation. I would advise you to share the email and your response with your wife and talk through your emotions with her. Your ex is in the past and you need to keep her there. Nothing good is going to come of you interacting with her. As for telling your wife, I think you should. It shows you're being transparent. She made the choice to cheat on you and now she has to live with the consequences. What happened to her in return was a heavy dose of karma. Continue to focus on yourself and remember that in order to fully move on, you need to completely cut off contact with her. Now, let's get into today's second story. I and my wife are currently stuck in a love triangle and she is still with her affair partner. Here's some background. I'm currently out of state and not with her. I was pushed out and convinced that I needed to focus on my studies due to the fact that I failed on multiple occasions. I was currently staying with my parents and solely focusing on my studies when I found out she was having an emotional affair with a co-worker. Eventually this led to a physical affair. The first discovery day was finding out that they kissed. Discovery day number 2 is when she snuck him into the house and hung out with him behind my back. Discovery day 3 was today when I caught her lying about hanging out with him again, leading me to ask if she had sex with him. She was honest and admitted to sleeping with him. She also mentioned that she does not see him as marriage material. but she only sees him as a friend with sexual benefits and emotional benefits. However, when I initially caught her, she pushed me away and pushed our relationship towards divorce. Let me also note that I've been trying very hard to make this marriage work and trying to help her get through this together. But she's been putting in very little to no effort and has our marriage on the back burner due to other personal problems and issues. I know there are faults within me, within her, and within the marriage we need to work on. And I know that we can't see a marriage counselor until I get back, which is in about 1.5 to 2 months. She is practically checked out of this marriage but is willing to work on this marriage if I can prove to her that I can pass this test and get a stable job. I still love her and she tells me that she still cares for me but is unsure if the love is the same as before. I completely understand as of right now. I know he's still over at the house. Here are some additional details on Valentine's Day. She told the affair partner not to give her gifts yet. She continued to accept his gifts. Anyway, she also told me that I was genuinely happy and that she loved me after she received the gift I sent her. I sent her flowers delivered to her workplace even if she was not with him. She said she would still be inclined to divorce me because of marriage problems because of financial instability as of right now. Now, I can't ask her to do much except for her to be truthful because she's prioritizing herself and her personal needs sexually and emotionally. We do have GPS trackers and cameras which she refuses to put up due to obvious reasons. She has told me that she can't guarantee that she won't hurt me, and that she's only looking out for herself as of right now. She also has many things to stress about work life, house happiness, car, and the list goes on. After I caught her cheating, I continued to reassure her that I loved her and I wanted things to work out, which made her feel remorseful but unapologetic for her actions, sleeping with another man. But literally says that she does not deserve me as a husband for doing all that to me. She is willing to do marriage counseling after I get back home and I'm able to stand on my own 2 feet. She admits to being very selfish, but because she's selfish, she plans on focusing on herself and her needs as a woman, meaning she plans to keep sleeping with her co-worker, her affair partner until I come back home and work on our marriage. We also owe lots of people money, which is another big reason why financial stability is important, especially if we plan on paying for marriage counseling. Every time I was suspicious and confronted her, she would lie and try to gaslight me and push our marriage towards divorce. Discovery days 2 and 3. She has also lied to me on various occasions, many of which I caught and confronted her, but she would continue to deny until I showed her proof after our talk today. She now admits that she can be honest with me despite how painful it may be towards me. Sadly, she still plans on continuing the affair until I come back. It is very painful for me to know that she's sleeping with another man, but I can't do anything about it until I get back home and start the recovery process. As of right now, this is the second night they're sleeping together. I do truly love her with all my heart, accepting her for all her pros and cons. So please don't bash on me when you read this post. I know that some relationships just don't work out, but I want to try everything possible to fix this marriage, from marriage counseling to affair recovery programs. I would appreciate any advice anyone could give me. It's so painful to be a part of this love triangle and I wish I was back home already. Thank you in advance for anyone who gives me advice. It really means a lot to me. I finally had enough and put my foot down after realizing how naive my wayward wife was in her thinking I will be coming back home in a few weeks and she thinks she can still be friends with her affair partner, not creating safety for the relationship and having no idea of the pain I'm going through. I blew up and told her I was done and that she knew little of what damage she had caused. She even thinks she's a good wife taking care of me even after the cheating. Well, I certainly didn't agree and called her out. That's when it started changing. I told her that my family, especially my sister, knew the details of her affair, the trust, respect and love that she has lost. Perhaps it was the sense of guilt she had. I don't know what clicked in her head. But after these arguments and calling her out on her continued cheating, she started feeling like shit, as if she was completely blind to what damage she had done. She's surprised that she has lost all the trust built up in the years we were together. She's actually surprised that her actions destroyed everything she's built up. It's hard to wrap my head around how much my wayward spouse was doing without realizing the consequences. Now she finally realizes she has a problem. She copes by cheating and now admits it. She finally sees that the choice to cheat and the decision to continue cheating these past months was all on her yesterday. And today were the first days I've seen her remorseful and apologetic. I've been browsing this subreddit and sent her my notes of the list of what a wayward spouse should be doing. I accidentally sent her one of the angry letters I wrote to myself as well. She feels even worse after seeing how much I went through at the same time. I'm glad I can finally open up. She even went as far as saying I deserve better and questioning why I would stay with someone like her who ruined everything. She questions if she can even regain the trust of my family, if we can even love each other after all this. Well, we're going to try. She's ready to tell me more details instead of trickle truth thing, but I'm holding off on more details for now since I would rather get the details in person instead of over the phone. I know at least the affair partner is just being used for sex and emotional support, and he full well knows what he's doing and getting himself into just a boy toy. It made me angry. She at least told me they both know they're human trash for doing this, especially her for allowing herself. I hope the affair partner looks at himself in the mirror and realizes how much of a problem he will have in any future relationships with the actions he has done at this point. I just care about her and us, and that she can fix herself through therapy. We've had better communication than we ever had these past months. I can tell that she almost has both feet in the door, but not yet. She's still struggling. She now knows how much she messed up, and an idea of what to do to help me heal the problem is if she can do it. She's been understanding, keeping in contact, letting me know more info when I ask, and letting me talk it out. She's doing more of the steps listed. She's having a hard time doing everything I ask all at once, which I understand. The one major thing I really want right now before I come back is blocking and going no contact with the affair partner. She's having a hard time doing that even though she knows she has to do it. Eventually, she even asked for closure with him. I don't know if she needs the push and support. When I come back, I've heard from Affair Recovery. It is incredibly difficult to cut an affair cold turkey, especially for female wayward spouses. We also don't know when we'll start therapy and affair recovery programs, but it will happen. Just glad she finally has her eyes open. I have a question. Can any betrayed spouse or wayward spouse chime in and give me advice on how to help her cut contact with her affair partner, especially if I'm still away for a few more weeks and she's struggling even though she knows she has to do it? It took you way too long to finally take a stance against your wife cheating. I'm not gonna lie. Hearing your story was honestly kind of painful to read. I do have to admit that I don't think she's guilty in any way about cheating. She's more guilty about the fact that she got caught and how her image has been ruined. If she actually had any remorse, then she wouldn't continue to contact the affair party. You need to wake up and get out of this relationship immediately. I don't know what kind of spell she has you under, but you keep ignoring all of her obvious red flags and are putting way too much trust into believing that she will change and is remorseful. You need to contact a lawyer ASAP and let her deal with the affair partner. If she wants, it shouldn't be of your concern. I wish you the best of luck, and please stop letting this woman walk all over you. Thanks for taking the time to listen to today's stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and comment below on what your thoughts are on today's stories. If there's a story you would like to share with me about your own situation or someone else's, then please do not hesitate to contact me. Take care of everyone. Take care of everyone.